Hello, everyone, and welcome to the IAM Love Builders Show. We are your hosts, Casper and Cheryl Stockham, and we are so glad you tuned in with us today. We want to give a great big shout out to our broadcast partners. Thank you. And we want to tell you that I Am Love Builders, we are a show that's all about marriages, communication, and relationships. We want your relationships to thrive and to prosper. And we want you to become MVPs. That's the most valuable partner in your marriage or relationship. Because we believe that if you're not having fun, you're not doing it right.
No doubt about that. Hey, I want to give a shout out to our sponsors. We just came back from taping our first season of our TV show. Yay! Winning with Love, where we mastered the relationship game, and it's going to premiere on the 21st of November, 2024. So just here in a couple short months on Zandra TV.
Yes.
If you have not heard of Zandra TV, you can download it from Roku, Apple, Amazon, or even some Comcast networks across the nation. So we're excited about that. We also have we have a Winning with Love card game or relationship game, and we're looking for beta testers for that game. So if you want to be a beta tester, reach out to us. You can go to our website, iamlovebuilders.com/game, and you can get more information about that. We have two micro networks on Zandra TV. One is I Am Kingdom Media Network. That is for kingdom-based shows or podcasts or programs. And then we have Love Builders TV Network, and that's for positive programming, but not necessarily kingdom-based. So we have those two networks we can talk to you about. We also have a Facebook group called Most Valuable Podcast Network.
Yes.
And you can get 15-minute interviews on that network for free to where we showcase your podcast. So we're excited to talk to you about that as well. We wrote a book called Divorce Proofing Your Marriage. It has hit the hot new release list on Amazon. So it's available right now on Amazon. You can also get a signed copy by going to our website. And I am just about finished with my book called Mastering Adam. It's becoming the best Adam for your Eve, and it's going to be available soon. I'm working on the final details now. Probably within the next 30 days or so, that should be available. And we have a Most Valuable Partner Club call we do twice a month, and the huddle part of that is free on social media. We do 15-minute training on social media, and then the private partner club call is a exclusive call for our MVP partners. All right, Cheryl, we just got back from Texas.
It was awesome. It was so awesome. I was a little nervous, a little ambivalent because we've never really done anything on TV before.
Right.
For a couple of years, we did have a radio show. So we're very accustomed to radio as well as the podcast, but television.
That was something different.
That was different.
Yeah. So we filmed an entire series of our show, 6 episodes in 2 days.
Yes, we did.
So in the TV world, you do things condensed or consolidated. So we filmed 3 episodes on one day and 3 episodes on the other day. In fact, we imported our set. That's our set behind us from our TV show. So we have that in the background. But yeah, we have 3 segments of the show. But there's 3 parts to it. One is an interview. So we interviewed couples. Most of them are business owners, or they have a ministry of some type.
Or wrote a book or something of that sort. Yes.
Yeah. So we did an interview with those couples. And then we did something that we really just thought about like a week before taping.
Well, it wasn't even a week.
It wasn't even a week.
It was like a couple of days before.
Yeah, we decided
we had to do a pivot.
yeah, we did a major pivot, but it was your Holy Spirit inspired idea.
Yes.
And once you told me about it, I'm like, yeah, why did we not even think about that before, right? So it's called Love Talk, and that's where we sit around with the couples that we interviewed, and then we sit around and have like a little panel discussion.
Had our guests on, and everyone got to share. We had a topic we put out on the floor, and everyone got to share, and it turned out a lot better than what we way thought.
Better. In fact,
definitely the Holy Spirit.
Yeah. In the future, that may be a show.
Yes.
We just do a Love Talk show on
good.
Zandra, because it was such a good idea. It just went very, very well. And then we launched our card game, Winning with Love.
Yes.
So I think I have an image of that. But yeah, we launched our card game, Winning with Love, um, and we actually had couples play the game. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah, we came up
Um,
with the card game because we knew we wanted to have guests on our show. We knew we wanted to talk to people, and we wanted to help other couples expand their audience,
Yeah.
especially if they had a business or a ministry or product or service. We wanted to sow into them.
Yeah.
So expand their audience, give them some exposure, greater exposure. We wanted to do that, but then we wanted to do something a little different, and we weren't quite sure at first.
Right.
But then I thought about it. If that our tagline is, if you're not having fun, you're not doing it right. So I thought, well, then
Let's
we
have
need to
some
be
fun.
having some fun.
Let's have some fun.
And so
Yeah.
we kind of threw out some ideas and put some thoughts together, and Honey hashed it out and did all the design part, and
Yeah.
and voila, we came up with a game that we believe couples can enjoy and
Yeah.
have fun. And
Yeah.
once you see the show, once it's aired, you will see how the couples played the game. So
Yeah.
it's good.
Yeah, and the TV version obviously is going to be different than
Yes.
the in-home version.
Right.
But it's just like a deck of cards. I wish I had the image to show you, but it's just a deck of cards. But the face of the cards have trivia questions. So we have the couples on the show, on the TV show, actually playing the game, just like the Newlywed Game or any game like that. But the in-home version is going to just have the card deck. We're still working on the ins and outs. That's why we have the beta testing portion.
We're still perfecting
We're
it.
still perfecting that. The cards are available, but we're still trying to get it into a package to where it makes sense for an in-home situation. But what's cool about these cards is that a couple, just a single couple, can use it to kind of get to know each other better.
Yes.
Now, we've been married for 21 years. And as we were developing the card game, we found out things about each other that we still didn't know.
It's like,
I
never thought of that.
never thought about that. Yeah. So a single couple can use it, or you can invite couples over to the home and play the game just like you would invite them over to play charades or whatever.
Right. So
we
believe it'll be fun. If you are a couple who love playing games, we pray that you will enjoy our game, and that if you're out there and you're listening and you want to be one of the beta testers,
you have to go to our website.
Yes, reach out to us.
Yeah, reach out to us or go to our website. Just click on contact us if you don't know where to go to find the information about the beta test. But you can go to iamlovebuilders.com/game. I think it's game or games. I think it's game or maybe games. One of those. I'm not sure. We got a lot of stuff going. Yeah. So it's going to be available on the 21st of November. We're going to have a premiere in Texas at the studios.
Yes.
So we'll be
if you're
flying
in
back.
Texas and you want to come,
Yeah, in the Dallas-Fort Worth
come.
area, absolutely. Yeah, we're going to have an invite to folks here soon. We'll be getting out the invite and more information about where that's going to be, but it's going to be in Texas on the 21st, and you are welcome to join us in the studio.
Well, we hope you will join us.
Absolutely. All right, so we're going to take a very quick break. If you're watching live, it'll just be 10 seconds or so. And then when we come back, we have our special guests in studio. They're in the green room. We're going to pull them up here, and we're going to talk to them. These guys are just busy bees, just doing a bunch of stuff. So we want to get their take on marriage and get their take on business and a whole bunch of stuff. So we'll be right back in just a quick moment. All right, we are back with I Am Love Builders, Casper and Cheryl here, and we are in our makeshift studio. That's our virtual backdrop from our TV show, Winning with Love.
Winning with Love.
Yeah. But we're going to bring on our guest now, and I met Jesse online. I think he was referred to me by someone. I can't remember who it was now. We had a great talk, and I said, you guys got to come on the show. So I'm going to bring them up. Jesse and Desiree, how you guys doing?
Hey,
guys. Doing awesome.
Awesome. So Jesse and Desiree are co-owners of Merge Worldwide. They're international speakers and event planners. You can get more information about them by going to mergeworldwide.com. I was just on the website. You guys got a lot of stuff going on. They got videos and just a bunch of information. So we're gonna get into all that. We've got some segments to unpack all of that. But welcome to the show, and kind of introduce yourselves to our audience.
Yeah, so I'm Jesse. This is my wife, Des. We've been married for over 10 years. We just had our 10-year anniversary last month.
All right, very good.
Yep. We got our girls, Haley and Mariah. We're living the teenage life, so every day we never know what's going to happen next.
Oh boy, yeah.
So we're sticking it out, and we're making it all work. It's a lot of fun, a great journey, and obviously we love to serve entrepreneurs at the highest level and speaking and coaching and hosting events all over the world.
That's awesome. Now, where did you guys meet? When and where did you guys meet?
I have the funniest story. So we actually went to high school together, but we didn't even talk once.
Okay.
So it was I'm a couple years older than him. I was with somebody, he was with somebody, so we never actually spoke once. But
Sure.
So we found ourselves in this predicament where we had a very similar story, but we didn't know that we had a very similar story until we met at this park that we live very close to in our hometown.
Mhm.
And I was teaching my daughter how to ride her bike, and he was playing with his daughter at the park at the same time.
Wow.
And I think he was secretly checking me out for a couple days.
I see.
That's what I think.
It wasn't a secret. Everybody knew it.
Everybody, but Desiree.
But it was just funny that he was there every day for like 3 days straight. But I was teaching my daughter how to ride her bike, and he was there with his daughter, and our kids just it was like a movie moment, really.
Yeah.
There was a ball that was dropped, and both the girls went to the same ball, and we were there, and we're like, oh wow, we went to high school together. And yeah, it's just so funny.
Now, are your girls close to the same age?
Yeah, that was another very similar thing about our story. So at the time, his daughter was almost the same age as my daughter. So they're both born in December. They're only a couple days apart, and they have the same middle name, which is very...
Wow.
Yeah. And so we have a December 8th and a December 10th, and both of their middle names are Jade.
Oh my goodness.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Well, you couldn't have planned that better.
Yeah.
I know. It gets weirder and weirder.
Yeah. So tell us, Jesse, were you planning this encounter, or how did that work?
Well, I mean, I went to the first day, and then I saw her, and I was like, oh my goodness, I need to get to know this lady, because man. So I saw her at the park, and I was looking at her, I was like, man, like, she's beautiful. And then I came back the next day hoping, I was like, I hope I get to see her again. And so, eventually our kids, they ran and played together, and then it kind of forced us to talk to each other because our kids kind of wandered off. And so we don't want to be completely bad parents. So we got to supervise them a little bit. And so we walked towards them, and we literally walked up next to each other. We started talking, and then I was just talking about how we could maybe hang out at some point. And, that's, our daughters are literally with kind of the cause. I believe that's a God thing.
Right.
Use our daughters in a way to bring us together.
Well, all right. That is awesome.
That is awesome. Yeah. So, so how long did you guys date before you whoever popped the question and decided?
What's so funny? He left out some of the story. So
Okay.
So still I think that's right.
So
We're gonna all
he tried to give me his phone number, and I was like, I don't know. And he wasn't used to that. He was used to all girls probably saying yes whenever.
Sure. Yeah.
Because he was a great looking guy and had a very.
She said was. Did you hear that?
I heard that.
I was a great looking guy. What did you have to say? I was.
I heard that.
Wow.
So very charismatic, funny, and so at first I was like, we have a very unique story between the two of us, and so I was not in a zone where I was trying to date at the time, but I just really I wanted to get to know him more. So we were just friends for a really long time, and I actually saw that his daughter needed some guidance as far as some womanly guidance.
Yes,
Mm-hmm,
yes.
mm-hmm.
And so I offered to him, I said, hey, if you ever need, because he was a single dad, I was a single mom, and I said, if you ever, want to bring her over and the girls can play and I can just kind of show you some things, that's
Mhm.
helped.
Mhm.
And yeah, and so he trusted me with that. And he came over one day with Mariah, I remember. And I was like, wow, okay, so he's coachable. That was huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
Looking good so far, Jesse.
Yeah.
You're coachable.
Yeah. And you're still a good looking guy, so
You know what? I appreciate that because she thought she just thought I was good.
Look, I heard
not present tense. So we'll talk about that later.
So
Hard
Desiree, after 10 years, is he still coachable?
Yes, I was just talking to
That's
him about
good.
it actually just recently because I don't know, for me, I just think that marriage is something that you really got to be honest,
Right.
and we have to be able to speak about like what really is happening. And if we're not able to really do that and then receive it and then fix it, it just is a lot harder than it needs to be, I feel like. So I think coachable is one of the most it's actually the reason why I actually did marry him in the long run, because I saw that he wanted to learn, and I saw that he was willing to hear how I needed to be loved, and he was willing to make the things in place that had to change at the time. I see him side eyeing me right now, but it's true. I think even 10 years down the road, we've been together for 12, but 10 years down the road, I think he's still very coachable.
Well, that's important because you made a good point. We both need to be coachable,
right.
to be open and honest with each other. Is it time for a
No,
break?
it's not quite.
Oh, okay. Sometimes he cuts me off like, oh, it's time for a break. So, yes, so we both need to be coachable as husband and wife. We do need to be honest. When we start off not being honest, it just snowballs. It doesn't make the marriage any easier. So,
Yes.
I'm glad to hear that, Jesse.
Me too. I didn't know that until just now. So we all learned something together.
There you go. There you go. All right. So we want to unpack the marriage portion of it, like, who asked who to marry and how long did that take? Because Cheryl and I went from dating to husband and wife in 45 days. So
Oh, wow.
Yes, our first date was August the 16th.
Yeah.
And we got married September 28th.
Wow.
all right, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back in just a moment. All right, we are back at I Am Love Builders with Casper and Cheryl, and we have our special MVP guests, Jesse and Desiree Cruz. And they were telling us about how they met. Basically, the daughters kind of helped facilitate the meeting in the park. It was kind of like almost like a movie kind of thing, where he's walking the dog and she's walking her dog, and then the dogs
That's
things get tangled up. And
that's
stuff.
the 101 Dalmatians.
So tell us about the proposal and how long did all that take?
Oh my gosh, the proposal was a disaster. It's Christmas Day, and I'm like, I'm gonna propose to her in front of my family, in front of her family, and I'm excited. I got it all planned out, and we're going to her parents' house, and she's like, I'm not really feeling well. Like, she said she just wasn't feeling well. I was like, oh shoot, like that's not good.
Right.
So we get out the car, and before we walk into her parents' house where we're gonna, do Christmas, and I'm gonna propose here very soon, she starts throwing up everywhere, and I was just like, oh my gosh, is this a sign? Should I not be asking her? Is this her way of trying to get out of it because she knows it's about to happen? I don't know, but
I had no idea.
I know. I had a big old box, and I got her one gift, and the one gift happened to be, when she opened it up, it just had one piece of paper in the box, and it said, "Will you marry me?" When she opened it up, and then she looked up. I was down on one knee, had the ring in my hand, and she hesitated for a second. She wasn't sure, but I convinced her that this is a good decision, and it's all been good ever since. So she didn't want to. I made her marry me. So.
Oh, here we go. I don't know where he comes up with half of the stuff, but it's true. We persevered through sickness, which was
You got that right out the way.
We literally did that first step. I mean, that was one of the things. Yeah, so we laughed so hard about that story. Every time people ask, I was really hoping you were gonna ask, Ashley.
Oh,
Right.
so you wasn't feeling well. That's all. That's not good. That's not good. But you stayed. You stuck it out, and you didn't jump out the car and say, "I gotta go home." That would have really been an issue.
Yeah, no, we made it. It was a beautiful Christmas, and we were engaged, and I started feeling better. It ended up to be a beautiful night, but it was just a rough start. That's all.
All right, so you got engaged, and how long from engagement to the wedding?
It was about a year and a half. So we got engaged on Christmas, and then about a year and a half later, which happened to be in July, we got married on the 4th of July.
All right.
And so, yeah, that was about a year and a half engagement.
Okay. Yeah, we were kind of in a little bit of a rush because we're older. I was in a rush.
Okay, yeah. Because
Let me clean it up. I was in a rush.
I was not in a rush.
She was not.
I tried to extend it out for a whole nother year.
Yeah. She's like, I'm like, year. Ooh, what is that? No, I don't want to do that.
I love it.
So I gave in.
I went out 45 days. Let's get it done. Yeah.
That's incredible.
So, okay, so you guys have the two girls. You don't have any other children then? Just two girls?
Yeah, at that time, yep, just two.
Okay, very good. And then, so let's kind of transition away from the couple stuff, and let's talk about business a little bit, because you guys have at least one business I know of, and maybe a couple more, and you've written some books as well. So, we want to kind of dive into this a little bit. So how did all that come about?
So our entire mission is based off of our daughter's legacy. So we had a daughter between the two of us as well. It took a little while for us to get pregnant with Faith. And when we were pregnant with Faith, we were really happy to have one together and just start, have that whole life planned out of having our blended family and then our child, amongst the two of us. And then I was teaching at the time. I was a special ed teacher in the local school district here. Jesse was working in a school. And I was about 6.5 months pregnant at the time. And I felt like I couldn't walk anymore. So I drove myself to the hospital, and I actually ended up going into labor pretty quickly. And so my daughter, Faith, was born prematurely, and we were in the NICU in the Children's Hospital here for a little over 40 days, 42 days to be exact. And we watched our baby fight. And in that time, him and I were just in the NICU, really peeling back everything like an onion.
Yeah.
Every aspect of our life, I feel like, was kind of put into a microscope on full bloom, and we were forced to lose control, and we just sat and prayed and played worship music and just kind of led ourselves and our kids and our family and Faith into this transition. It's a beautiful transition. And she passed away on the 42nd day, and from that point on, our whole life changed, and we decided that we wanted to really focus on leaving a legacy for her and have it be in honor of the goodness of what God's done in our lives, and how we have something that we can really help a massive amount of people with, to be able to take something so terrible and turning it into honoring her with every person. So frankly, this podcast we're doing right now with you, it wouldn't. So like for me, every time I do anything, all I see is my daughter, because with both of your faces, it's only because of Faith. Right? Well, so our whole company was born from this experience with our daughter.
Well, here's what's very connecting about this is that I have a daughter. So I was married before, and my daughter Faith was premature.
Wow.
And she was born at about 6 months, and she was in the hospital. just like your
Wow.
precious Faith. And they told us she had Down syndrome.
Wow.
In fact, we knew before she was born that she had Down syndrome. And
Mm.
they said that she would never walk, she'd never talk, she'd never really function on her own at all. But we just believed that she would be okay, and it would just be okay. She was born premature, and she was in the ICU, and you could only touch her through the box with the glove and stuff. And she stayed in the ICU for 3 months, I think, or something. It was a long time. But she did persevere through that, and that was 40 years ago.
Faith turned 40
Wow.
this year in May.
Yeah.
And she's
Wow.
lived with us. She's
Yeah.
lived with us for, I believe, the last 20 years.
Yeah.
Wow. What a beautiful story.
Yeah.
So we have a faith too.
we have a Faith, yes.
Wow.
Okay, so Faith, we're going to take a break here in a couple minutes, but let's kind of set this up. So your precious Faith inspired this movement, if you will, or business idea to help families or help people, or what was the launch of that?
Yeah, originally it was what got me through it. Obviously, is my faith in God, my wife, my children. But I would write every single day, and I was writing till I would cry, and that helped me heal every single time.
Yes.
That's when I wrote my first book, and then the books led into people wanting me to speak, and then that evolved over time to being able to coach entrepreneurs and how to share their story effectively from stages, help them get their message out. And then we started to do live events all over the world as another way to connect with people
Okay,
from all
we're gonna
backgrounds.
back up and unpack all of those. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back in just a moment. All right, we are back with I Am Love Builders, Casper and Cheryl. We have our special MVP guests, Jesse and Desiree Cruz. We were talking about the precious daughter of Faith, who was born premature and she passed away, but it inspired them to start Jesse for sure, to start writing. But you mentioned like 6 things in there, Joe. We got to unpack some of that. Okay? so you started writing, and it was kind of like a therapeutic thing, or for you?
Yeah, that was my healing process, was to just write every single day. And then my first book came out, and then I was like, all right, now I'm ready to write a different book. But the second book, that was much more personal because that was about her life.
So what was the first book title?
So the first book was titled Live Your Dash, Discovering the 8 F's to Freedom, because there was 8 areas of my life that I need to be very intentional with to heal through that tragic loss. And I was intentional about those 8 areas. That's what got me through it.
And I'm assuming the dash is between when you're born and when you died, a dash on the
Correct.
tombstone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. And then you moved into your second book, which was
Yeah, that book is titled Losing Faith, Finding Hope. And that was about her entire life.
Yes.
So that book, it was obviously very vulnerable because I'm like, I know that there's other grieving parents or people that have just grieved the loss of a loved one, and this book can be a way for them to cope with their loss.
Yes. And I believe I saw. Did I see some of those books on your website on the merge?
Yeah.
book?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Very good. All right. So 2 books down, and then people started to reach out to you to like tell your story or speak about your story.
Yeah. People like, would you like to speak here and speak there? And I didn't really have initial ambition to be a speaker, but I just felt like I was called to it. And then I was speaking, and then I was being able to see the impact that it was making on people. And then I was like, well, I really want to get good at this. I want to get better. I just want to keep improving and help as many people as possible. And so then I learned how to master public speaking from the highest ability that I could do. And then I wanted to train other professionals on how they can share their message from stage.
Okay. And Desiree, during this time, what were you doing?
So I was a teacher for special ed, and then I resigned and went into the business full time. So we were hosting events and planning events all over the world, and we did that for a while. And then I started my own women's empowerment movement called Warrior Women as well.
So some of these events that you were planning, can you give us tell us about an event, especially one that in a different country, that you guys set up and did. Tell us about
How you go about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we had a retreat. It was my wife's dream to always go to Italy. We went on vacation there a few years ago. We loved it. We're like, this place is amazing.
Mhm.
And then when we left, we're like, we got to go back. But this time we're going to go back. And we're going to bring some amazing entrepreneurs with this amazing journey. And so because we've already toured most of the country, we were very familiar with places that we could go to and activities and excursions we could plan and come up with a curriculum. And so we decided to go back to one of the same places that we stayed at, rented out an entire property, started promoting and marketing the Legacy Retreat, which the first time we did it was in 2023. And it was a great experience. And we're like, let's just keep doing this because it's a great way for us to, as a family, like our kids go to the event, they help us behind the scenes, do a lot of things to make it happen.
Yeah.
And then we get to pour into other entrepreneurs as well. So we love being able to create events and create experiences for people that are dramatically changing their life because of the environment and the experience they get to have.
So your girls went with you. They would go with you on these events.
Oh,
They
yeah.
go with us everywhere. Yep.
Yeah, that's definitely the way.
Yeah, and they help us with everything too as well.
So tell us this curriculum. What are you talking about? What are your the goal that you have to help people?
Yeah, so it really depends on the event. So
Okay.
because we have different events that we do, we have different themes for each event.
Okay.
So every event has a specific theme. And so we run things like retreats, we have speaker competitions, now we have women's conferences. And so it's always finding a theme to connect to the event. And then we want to make sure that we have, the right people in the room, the right powerhouse speakers and educators who can come in and pour in and provide value. So it really just depends on the specific audience. But at the end of the day, the main thing it comes down to is how are we going to empower these entrepreneurs to show up and serve at a higher level to reach their audience through sharing their message and story on stages.
Okay, that is absolutely awesome.
Yes.
So tell us what other places have you been besides Italy?
So we're actually leaving to go to Iceland on Tuesday.
Oh, awesome.
Nice.
So this one, the one in Italy is the Legacy Retreat, and that one is amazing. And one of the things that I just want to add real quick with that Legacy Retreat specifically is the family, the Italian family that we also pour into. So we, the person who owns it and his whole family and what he's creating for his legacy, we're able to pour in and work together and fill each other. So the family legacy with his part of it has been amazing as well. And then for Iceland is the speakers retreat. So so it's going to be an amazing way to be able to have fun. Like you said, I love that you said having fun with it all.
Yeah.
That's exactly what this is. So we're trying to bring people to places that speak to our soul, that put us in a different creative zone, and that we can be able to just be creative in the highest level that there is. So Iceland is actually where he wrote it's the cover of his first book is from Iceland. So I actually took that picture in Iceland when we went and used it as the cover of his first book. And we're actually going to go back to that place. So now we're going to provide opportunities for entrepreneurs to be able to speak with this amazing natural God blessed backdrop that's going to be behind them. And we want to just have them be still enough to have their soul really touched and have them speak in a way that they've never spoke before because they're being, put on their heart of exactly what to say in that moment, in that environment. And then also giving them the skills to be able to do it at a higher level. So communication is like the highest. So we want to show them how to do it and have fun with that all together all at once.
Now, are any of your events annual events to where you do you kind of repeat that process every year?
Yeah, so we have our Mike Story speaker competition. We just did that one in Tampa, Florida in February. So we'll do that again next year. So that's one of our annual events. And now we recently added the women's conference. That's going to be another annual event that we do going forward.
Man, that is phenomenal. because I know we've had a conversation about planning some events and stuff. So hopefully down the road we can partner up with you on some of those. We have a couples retreat coming up at our church in October. We have 20 couples signed up, so that's going to be pretty fun.
Yes.
Yeah, it's going to be in Breckenridge, Colorado. So, Colorado's kind of like a destination state, and for a lot of folks and stuff. So we'll be up in the mountains of Colorado doing a couples retreat.
Well, you're speaking to our heart, because we started our married couple ministry really from our church as well, and we host married couple masterminds. So we do masterminds and things of the same sort. So you're speaking right to us right here.
All right. We're going to take another quick break. You're listening to I Am Love Builder Show with Casper and Cheryl. We have our special MVP guests, Jesse and Desiree Cruz. We're going to take another quick break, and we'll be right back in just a moment.
Okay.
All right. We are back with I Am Love Builder Show. The breaks are only like 10 seconds, so we're trying to get a quick conversation in 10 seconds. It doesn't work. It doesn't work at all. But we are back, and we have our special guests on the show with us. You had something?
Let's Desiree, tell us about your women's conference. Now, you said this is the newest venue that you've added. So tell us what spurred that on, and what's it all about.
It was so magical, and I didn't think it was going to happen as quickly as it did, to be honest with you, but it happened way quicker than I thought. And so what it was a whisper from God telling me that I need to do it. So I did it. And so it kind of catalyzed from Warrior Women. So Warrior Women is the movement that I started, where I want women to stand in their stories and talk about their stories. But not only that, I want women to say, this is what I need you to know from the story.
Okay.
So that people don't get to just walk away going, oh, I feel bad for her.
Yeah.
Right.
There's much more to that. So I don't want people walking away just feeling bad.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, let's change it so that we're leaving life lessons and turning it into legacy for our families. So it's just been amazing. Warrior Women was a project that I began from that whisper, and it accumulated over 30 women from all over the world to become published authors. And we had just such an incredible experience together doing it. And from there, I was like, where do I take them from there? And we host live events all over the world. So I said, there's nothing better than a live event.
Yeah.
There's just not. I mean, hearing people's stories over the phone is great, but like seeing it and feeling it live is so much different. So I teamed up with one of my really, really close friends, who is just amazing in the business space as well. And she's an incredible heart-centered leader. That's who I really like to look for and build my table with. And we're like, let's do it. So we did it. So we took all the girls that were part of the Warrior Women series, and we combined it with some of her people. We did it together. We hosted it in Cherry Hill in June, right before Italy. And it was just incredible. It was an incredible women's empower movement, and it's on the website. The recap video is on the website, and it was a lot of moving, shaking, inspiring, just all around just amazing fellowship with women, and specifically women in leadership, which was really, really great for me to experience. I feel like it's much needed for us to be able to put down the whole let's compare and actually collaborate. And so that's what we did.
Yeah. Now, Jesse, when we spoke several weeks ago, I think you told me about the initial story about you starting events, and I believe it was you I was talking to you, where you said that it was during the shutdown with COVID, right? And you went to the restaurant. Tell the audience that story.
So I had this idea. I was like, you know what? The whole world is shut down, literally, especially in New York State, where it's really shut down. And I look at Des. I said, I got a great idea. And she's like, what's that? I said, we're going to start doing in-person live events. And she looked at me like she literally wanted to smack me right in the head, because what kind of sane human being would say something so stupid? And she's like, Jesse, like, the world shut down. Events, we've never even been to events. We've never hosted events. What are you even talking about? So I try to cast the vision, and she was like, yeah, but there's nowhere to meet anywhere because everything is closed.
Yeah.
And I said, there's one place that's open. It's the restaurants. And if we can just get, some people at a dinner table and we'll talk business, we'll see what happens. And she's like, okay, like if that's what you want to do, like go ahead. And I was like, all right, sounds good. And so I needed to get a logo made. I needed to get a flyer made. I had no clue what I was doing. My daughter Haley makes a logo. My daughter Mariah makes a flyer, put it together. I'm going to post it online. I look at her. I said, just so you know, I'm going to charge money for this. And she wanted to strangle me now because she's like, how are you going to charge people money? You're brand new. You have no experience. Like, what's wrong with you?
It's not quite that. It's not quite that dramatic. But I love
really
how
was.
It
really was. She was not happy that I said I was charging money because she's like, this guy's insane. Which I was a little insane because, I was doing something. I had no clue what I was doing, but I was trying to figure it out during the shutdown. And so I put it out online and people started asking me about it. And I get people in the room. And, for me, I was like, I'm going to charge a lot of money. And because to me at this time it was a lot of money. I charged $10, and I thought it was a massive amount of money. Like I literally almost had a heart attack when people would ask me, how much is it? I was like, it's $10, but like if you don't want to pay that much, like just come for free because I know it's a lot. And they're like, oh well, I'll just pay the $10. I'm like, oh okay, maybe I could have charged more than $10. Maybe I'll pay for the next one. And then so we get people around the table, and it's my wife and I, and it's 6 other people, and it's like a 2-hour event or something like that. We have dinner, we talk, it goes well. I wasn't sure at the time if she knew that I actually charged people the money. I think she was hoping that there's no way he's actually going to charge people an insane amount of money, like $10, right? Because to us it was a lot.
Yeah.
And so she said, well, how much money did we make from, this, gathering at the restaurant? And I said, well, and we made $60. And I was like, you know what that means, don't you? She's like, what's that? I said, we're gonna be rich. Because I had never made $30 an hour because it's a 2-hour event. I had never made $30 an hour. I was like, oh my gosh, we are filthy rich right now.
Right.
And so that was the start of our events. It was in the middle of the shutdown. And around a dinner table with 6 people, wasn't fully sure what I was doing, but I just had this calling. And in a sense, investing into the right coaches to help me along the way to take the events to another level and to help people all over the world.
Yeah. Now, wait, so you charged $10, but was there any food included in that?
No, they paid for their own food. Everyone paid for their own meal.
Wow. Okay.
And so you got 6 people in the middle of COVID with no pushback that actually came to a restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
To meet, were these people you knew or you didn't know these people?
2 of them we knew. The other 2 were kind of like we were like familiar but didn't really know them. Mm-hmm. And the other 2 were complete strangers, which threw me completely off. I was like, a complete stranger is gonna trust me with $10. That's a lot of money. Like that's what I was thinking. I was, this guy's crazy. I could be a thief and get all away with his $10, right? Because that's just where my mindset was at that point in my life. But it was cool. It's been a great journey.
Well, that is awesome. I'm surprised you didn't get any COVID pushback.
No. I mean, not from them. I mean, I think they were
sure
itching.
There's a lot of people who didn't come because it was COVID.
Yeah, there's probably a lot of people who were like, this guy's insane. I'm not even going to entertain the thought of going. Right? There's probably those people too who were like, I'm not going to that. Like, what's wrong with this dude? I'm sure there was that too. But at least from them, they were open-minded.
Yeah. I've always, when I hear entrepreneurial stories, it's always someone who does something out of the box. It's out of the box thinking, is doing something counter to the culture or counter to what everybody else is doing, so that to me, that story struck me as something that's how you make it, if you will. That's how you get ahead, is by doing something counter to what the rest of the world is doing. So man, that's phenomenal. We're going to take another quick break. Actually, this is our last break. We want to make sure that we cover anything about your businesses that we haven't covered already, your website, some of your upcoming plans, things like that. So we want to make sure we cover all that. We'll be right back in just a moment. All right, we are back with I Am Love Builders, Casper and Cheryl. We have our MVP guests in studio with us, Jesse and Desiree Cruz. We're hearing all about their marriage, their story, their girls. How old are the girls now?
Haley's about to be 18 in December, and Mariah's going to be 16 in December.
Wow, that is phenomenal.
And they were
Sound like-
they were 3 and 5 when we first met.
Yeah.
Sound like you've survived teenagehood pretty well then.
So far, so good. Something else kind of off topic that I heard about Iceland and Greenland. So Iceland is Iceland, but it's pretty green from what I've heard. And Greenland is like, ice, tundra. It's like
That's correct.
Yeah, it's opposite. They did it on purpose so that the people wouldn't go to the country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so this is our last segment, so we want to kind of wrap things up. You guys have been doing a lot of events around the world. You got some events coming up. We want to make sure we talk about those. Anything else that we want? Because on your website, I saw 3 or 4, 5, 6, like 20 books on your website. It was like, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them up there. So we want to, kind of touch on some of those. And
then I have a question.
Yes.
So I wanted to, with your businesses, your travel, and your daughters,
Oh, yeah.
how do you keep this marriage thriving?
Yes. Good, great question.
It's a great, much needed question. 100%.
Yeah.
I love that she asked that because it's so important. I think that when Jesse just recently resigned and moved 100% into the company, so now it's not like first it was just I was home, and now we're both home.
Okay.
And so now we're both home, both together, both in the company, and talk about a leap of faith. I mean, it's really like leaving your salaries, leaving your insurances, doing this from the bottom up all over again. And I think being intentional about the areas that are solid for us. So like for us, we know that statistically that people who pray together stay together.
Okay.
And so it's Jesse's like love language is him praying with me. That's like what he loves. And so as his wife, I know that. So we make sure that we're intentional. That's how we start our morning every morning.
Amen.
So we come out and I go get some coffee, and we go out to our deck and we sit there and we do a Devo from you version together, just talk about it briefly, pray together about it. And that's how we start. So it really has it worked every single time for everything? No, but it's a really great start, 95% of the time.
Yeah.
So that would be one of the things. Yeah.
And I'm a fan of you version. I love that Bible app. That is my favorite. I'm there every day.
Yeah, I love it too. And then I would say another one for me, like as the woman, is time management.
Okay.
So he's really, really good with blocking his time. Like he's so routine that it's like every 15 minutes Jesse's day is planned out. And then I'm completely opposite. I'm like, okay, so this chunk of day I have to work out. This chunk of day I gotta, get my social media, my contacts, all that stuff in.
Yeah.
Emails, securing over our retreats, like all the stuff, right? Because I do all the event planning and all that.
Yeah.
So then the other half of it is me like still like doing things that I enjoy, hanging out with my mom, like so making sure that we're dividing our time still where we're not working 18 hours a day and still using the time wisely so that it all works, so that we're not in each other's space.
Yeah.
That we can give each other space, that we're still praying together, keeping our marriage first. Because it could be, there's a lot of things that can get in the way of distracting our mission. So our number one gift that we've been given is each other.
Yes.
Right.
And so if we take all the distractions and let it get in the way, it's never going to work.
Right. Well, you're operating in your passion when you lose track of time. When I was working a corporate job, so I don't anymore, but when I did work a corporate job, you're looking at the clock every 5 minutes. Like, oh,
Yeah.
man, come on, 5 o'clock, please get here.
Yeah.
But when you're working for yourself, and it's like, where did the time go? I mean, we just sat down for coffee this morning, and it's already afternoon. What
Yeah.
kind of
Goes so
things.
fast.
Yeah.
It goes so fast, and you can get caught up in just always working. That's another thing. Like always working isn't good either. So being able to shut it down, that's something that's really hard for entrepreneurs, I think, is being able to shut it down.
I agree.
And just really stand in the purpose and the faith of it all, and give each other space and time together as much as we need it with every day. I think every day it changes.
Well, that is awesome, because that is one of the things that we teach our couples is that, first of all, you need to be intentional.
Mm-hmm.
You need to have goals, not only your personal goals, but goals for your relationship, for your marriage.
Right.
So you know where you're headed, and then you can avoid all those distractions. And I like the fact that you guys schedule, because that's another thing we talk about. Make sure you schedule your time
Yeah, be
together,
intentional.
because a lot of couples, if you're busy, that's important. You have to schedule it, because if you don't schedule it, it won't happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, like we do our date nights. Like I still make we still make sure that, like, I'm very aggressive when it comes to Fridays. Like Fridays, it's me and my husband's day. That's so our Friday evenings, not all of Friday. But yeah, we still make sure we do our date nights, and yeah, every morning that's how we start. And it's nice because our kids know, our kids know too. That's another thing. It's like they know that we need time just with us.
Well, at the ages they are, I'm sure they have, they're occupied with their friends and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to hang out with mom and dad that much, probably.
Yeah, no.
They can't wait for us to leave.
Exactly. And we only got maybe 2 minutes left, or maybe even less than that. Kind of give us a little bit of a rundown on your books and stuff. I know we talked about some of them earlier, but there's a lot of books on your website. So just kind of give us a little snapshot of those as we leave out.
Yeah, I covered the first two. Then the third one, I wrote a children's book with my daughters, so to help build their life and legacy out. So they're published authors as well.
Yes.
My wife did her anthology, Warrior Women's Volume 1 and Volume 2. She did that. I'm sure she'll have Volume 3 coming out soon. And then we did a relationships book together where we wrote a chapter together about our marriage in another anthology. And those are all the books, and I'm sure we'll probably have a couple more coming out next year.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah, so the relationship book, what's the title of that one?
That was called Your Relationship Roadmap. We wrote that with like probably 7 or 8 other couples. My friend was the one that was the head of the project, and we decided to support him in that way and talk about our marriage in his book.
Oh,
Amen.
There you go.
Very good.
Very good. Well, that is awesome, guys. Man, we're so excited that you came on our show. We'll have to have you back and stuff to get some updates after your trip to Iceland, was it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we leave on Tuesday.
Yeah, we want to hear all about that. So we're just excited to have you guys on the show. Really appreciate you.
Yes, thank you so much for having us.
You are so welcome. All right. Let's see. Where is my little thing here? All right. So you've been listening to I Am Love Builders show. We want you to get a free ebook from our website. It's IamLoveBuilders.com. It's the first 5 chapters of our book.
Yes.
And if you're single, you definitely want to get the first 5 chapters, because we talk about a lot of stuff that singles need to know, like seek a good match and the whole 9. So you can also get a free 5 or 20-minute love assessment from our website as well. It's IamLoveBuilders.com. And we always say all the time, you know what? If you're not having fun,
you're not doing it right.
We'll see you guys on the next show. Bye-bye.